Hello, guys. Welcome to Main Event Boxing Talk. We've got some big news there. Hello, Tom.
Hello.
Hello, Spencer. How you doing?
What's going on? I'm all right. Yourself?
Right, let's start with the big news then. Who wants to kick it off?
You do it.
Right. It's been confirmed that Tyson Fury, Usyk has been signed for 23rd of December. Title unification. This is the first heavyweight unification we've had in 20 years. So this is great news.
Year, right? This year.
Yeah, this year. Supposedly. Contracts have been signed.
That's funny, you know, because all the nonsense that they went through in the last negotiations. I'm wondering if it was just a big act, you know?
Probably, yeah. Knowing Fury. What do you think, Spencer?
I think it was that 121 million that those guys was about to split. I don't know, like what team got them to get that much money, but they got that amount of money, so it's going on. Now, I'm just going to correct you, Nathan. It's not just a unification; it's an undisputed fight.
No, that's what I meant to say. Sorry.
Yeah.
First undisputed 20 years. For me,
who do you pick, Nathan? Who do you pick to win?
Fury via split decision. I changed in my mind all the time. I think this fight is going to be so closer than what we think. Because I'll tell you why my reasons are. Fury can't, Fury is big, but Usyk is a little bit faster. It's going to be so close. Tactically, this fight is going to be like a chess match. It's not going to be like the heavyweight fights we've seen before. It's not going to be a tear. It's going to be a technical fight, I believe. What do you think, Tom?
Well, there's a big size disparity, and Fury can move as well. You know, Usyk moves beautifully, but Fury also knows how to move and avoid punches, and he fights from both stances. Yeah. So I think Fury has an advantage, especially if he wants to keep him on the outside. I think he can. He's going to have to eat a long jab, or right hand to get inside. It's, I don't know what the tactics are going to be for this fight. It'll be interesting, but I think Usyk has an uphill climb.
He does, but barriers can be broken, ties can be taken away. We saw it when he fought Joshua. He took his size away. Do you remember in the first round he took his size away and everything away within the first 40 seconds of the round? Remember, he just took his size away. It didn't make any difference.
They're not the same fighters. They're just not the same fighters. It's hard to compare them. What were you going to say?
Ruiz had already took AJ's size away from him before Usyk fought him. Fury has not lost yet. So I'm going with Fury myself in this matchup.
He's never fought anyone this good before, has he? Apart from Wilder, he hasn't fought anyone this good. This is the whole thing. Nobody really knows. I mean, we think Fury in our heads, we say Fury's better, but nobody really knows, do they? Really, until they get in the ring, we won't find out.
I mean, he fought the best Ukrainian fighter, heavyweight fighter ever, and beat him.
Yeah,
I would say that he, I mean, I'm not gonna just say it's gonna be an easy cakewalk for Fury, but I don't see Usyk beating him.
No, but
like what Tom said.
Is it technically he's a better fighter than Vladimir Klitschko?
Fury, like Tom said, he could fight from both sides if he wants to, if he chooses to. He has the size advantage. If he wants to come in heavy and lean on Usyk all night and just, manhandle him, he could do that too. Or he could try to lean that, stay lean. Usyk isn't going to hit him with any punches that's going to really damage him, I don't think.
No.
So, I don't know. I mean, Usyk is a good technical fighter, so he's probably the best boxer, perhaps, that Fury has fought.
Yeah. Fury,
but
for me,
Fury
Fury's
is
going to have to knock him out or make sure he has a good technical game. Because if he doesn't outbox Usyk, Usyk will outbox him. So he needs to
but
get in there
Usyk,
and use the side advantage, like you said.
Fury is also Usyk's best competition too.
By far. Yeah.
You know, like, so you can't take that away from Fury. Yeah, Usyk might be Fury's best competition, but Usyk and Fury is definitely Usyk's best competition. He has never fought nobody.
Problem with his fight is Fury's never fought anybody with his skill level who's got a skill level is better than his. He's never fought anyone who can match him skill for skill. That's the problem. You know, that's where the problem lies from a little bit. So I think Fury's just going to about win, just do enough to win. You know, just about.
If he uses his jab, it's going to be an easy fight.
Yeah.
If he keeps him at the end of the jab and just punishes him with the right hand coming in, he'll easily get a decision. He'll bust him up.
If he starts going on the inside, that's where it could get tricky. So if he keeps on the outside, he'll win comfortably. But if he gets I know he can grab him and hug him. But I'm saying if he starts getting a tear in the middle of the fight, that's where Usyk can kind of take over and kind of.
Fury can fight on the inside too. He fights on the inside really well.
He does, but this is one guy he probably don't want to risk it. Which is just my opinion. He should just keep it on the outside.
Yeah, he do Muhammad Ali and just keep him at the end of the jab and pepper him as he comes in.
What I'm trying to say is you can't fight Usyk at his own fight. It's not a good idea. Fight him, fight a different style. Keep it on the outside. What Klitschko's do, he's going to have to do a Klitschko performance. If he gets on the inside, he's going to be vulnerable. So if he keeps it on the outside, like you say, he'll win. But he can't he has to stick to a plan. Otherwise, he will lose. You know,
it'll be good. We're all waiting for it, right, Spencer?
Yep.
Can't
wait.
Look, heavyweight boxing, anything can happen. That's what I love about this fight, where nobody really knows what's going to happen. Any Fury could get knocked out, he could lose. We just don't know. That's what's so exciting about this fight.
I mean, yeah, it's true. He can't get. I mean, it's doubtful because he's been hit by guys way harder than what Usyk has hit. So, but who knows? Like, those guys they weren't putting their punches together the same like Usyk might be able to. So
they're not as slick with the footwork and the angles. And Usyk got past this fight. He won that one with low blow and all against Dubois. Then we got the Nagano fight, and Fury should be, get through that up. But
I hope they cancel that. I hope they cancel it. I hate that fight.
You're gonna make a lot of money. Why cancel it?
Yeah.
I mean, Tyson's going to be out the
I'm
bill.
not saying he would.
It's going to be a show. Unfortunately, Nagano hits hard, but I don't think it's going to matter. Are the rounds 3 minutes or 2 in that fight?
I think they 3 minutes.
3? That favors Fury. That favors Fury. Nagano's going to gas after a few rounds. Definitely going to gas. We'll see how it goes.
Crazy, isn't it, really?
You want to move on to the next thing here?
Anyway, shall we move on?
Let's move on.
Charlo against Canelo against Charlo is the next thing. I'm very skeptical about this fight. I think this is bad matchmaking. This is good matchmaking. This is a cherry pick that could go wrong if he's not careful. Canelo should win this fight.
I don't think it was cherry picking because his brother was supposed to fight his brother, and his brother has been out of the ring for about 2 years, and so he stepped up and said, "I'll take it."
Yeah.
There's been a little friction between them. I watched the fight again with the last guy he fought, the other champion that he had the draw with. I forgot his name.
Castano,
Yeah, Castano. And I saw a few things that will get him in trouble if he fights Canelo, because Canelo is such a good counterpuncher. He definitely has a tendency to drop his jab and get hit with an overhand right. And then also the way he moves into a left hook. If he does that with Canelo, he's going to get hurt. Now, he's faster and he moves, but Canelo is such a good counterpuncher and sets so many traps. Canelo's speed is in the counterpunching, not in his feet or whatnot. It's getting the right angle, and he throws a punch you're not expecting. But he's got he got rocked. Cassano rocked him a couple of times with right hands and left hooks, especially in close.
I believe Charlo's going up from 154 to 160. That's a massive jump for anyone, no matter how talented you are, to go into your first super middleweight fight against the best. You know, I just think this is a fight that's going to go wrong, and I don't see it lasting more than 6-7 rounds. I think he's good. He's just not big enough. He hasn't got the power to hurt Canelo. In my opinion, he's bigger in size, but will his power go up? We don't know. I don't think
he has a fast jab, which could help him for a while but the difference is when he fought Bivol, who had a fast, longer jab and more powerful jab, he was able to back Canelo up. You got to back Canelo up to beat him.
But we're talking about a guy who walks around at probably 190 pounds and is 6'4", 6'5". You know, it doesn't compare for me. You can't compare Charlo to that kind of 190-pound jump. What do you think, Spencer?
You said he's how tall?
Charlo is 6 foot. He's a whole 3 inches taller, 3 or 4 inches taller than Canelo at 5'8".
Doesn't matter.
Size don't mean anything in these.
No, it don't. Not really. Especially with this situation, because Canelo is has been the fighting at a bigger weight. You know, so yeah. I mean, listen, I think Canelo's going to win. You know, I'm favoring Canelo to win. I'm going to the theater to watch this too.
Oh yeah.
How much is that costing, if you don't mind me asking?
$25.
So how much is that on pay-per-view? $80 or is it $90 now for a pay-per-view in America?
Yeah, the pay-per-view was $80.
Look that. Oh, God. Crazy.
But yeah, I'm going to see a big screen. You know, wife.
I love that.
In the UK, we don't have that. You have to go to London. I'd have to travel 70 miles to see it. I've never seen the fights at the theatre, ever. Anyway.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's nice to see it. I seen the first Fury Wilder fight there. I've seen the second Fury Wilder fight there.
I saw Lee and Frazier #2 in the theater. I saw Norton and Ali. I think the third fight in the movie theater too.
I saw Hagler and Leonard at the. I saw 2 fights at the Apollo. They put the screen up at the Apollo Theater. Hagler and Leonard. And Spinks and Tyson. The Spinks and Tyson fight was over in like.
He just walked over. But getting back to this fight, it's really a styles fight, and I think Charlo will be competitive in the beginning, you know, but I think eventually he'll start getting broken down. You know, to the body and to the arms.
What you watch with Canelo is, remember when he fought Rocky Fielding, the British level guy. I remember watching Canelo started in the first round. He did first round. He did enough. The second round, he started going for the ribs. Do you remember? He started going to the body, throwing him with these uppercuts, overhand rights, to smacking him. I remember when he fought Callum Smith. Do you remember when? Because Callum Smith's so big, he was throwing his punch up like that and just smacking him around the face. Do you remember? Smacking him around the face continuously, and Smith was standing there. Do you remember? That's what Canelo can do to you. He'll break it down. He'll throw those punches that smack you around the mouth. And if you can't withstand it, you're in trouble. You know, that's just
interesting. He fights a little bit. He's taking a page out of Rocky Marciano's style.
I want to say something though. I'm sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
I was done. Go ahead.
As far as those 2 fights that you mentioned, Nathan, both those guys were British guys that were used to fighting in the UK. And that had to come overseas to fight here. Charlo's fighting in his hometown where he's used to fighting.
Yep.
You know, so that might be somewhat in Charlo's favor. He don't, you know, like he's comfortable where he's at. He's not fighting in a foreign land or foreign soil or anything like that. He may have. He's not going to have as many fans in the audience. But
he's never felt that kind of power. Charlo's never felt the kind of power this man's going to throw it. We're talking about
not at all.
Light heavyweight.
No, he's trained some really strong fighters. He's trained brother. He knows power. I think he can get power. He's not a pushover.
No, he's not.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been knocked out, and his own power. I mean, I know it's been at 154 or whatever, but his own power isn't nothing to sneeze at. You know, Charlo got a little bit of pop too.
Who has Charlo beaten, really? I'm not being funny. I looked at his record. Who has he really beat?
Well, he's
He beat everybody at 154.
And Austin Trout. His three biggest records on his name are Castano, Austin Trout, and is it Harry? Is it what's his name? The other guy.
Hurt.
Yeah.
Hurt.
Yeah. And there's another name on his record. I can't remember it. Let me look at his record.
But the point, people used to say the same thing about Bud, right? Who was he for?
Tony Harrison, Castano, Tony Harrison, Austin Trout, Lubin. They're the only decent names on his record. Other than that, there isn't anybody else on his record that I can say is any good.
Well, you're talking about
they're all good fighters.
Fighters. You're talking about elite fighters. In that division, there hasn't been an elite fighter since Canelo, I think. Right? I mean, Canelo 154 for a long time, but then you go back into this, and now he's unified. So,
what names should Charlo have on his resume from the 154 division that would have made his resume a better resume?
Apart from Castano, Tony Harrison, and Austin Trout and Lubin, there aren't any real other names there other than Leslie fought his brother. But obviously, that was never going to happen. But the really. You know, I mean,
he wasn't going to fight. He wasn't going to fight Laura. He wasn't going to fight Laura. Yeah, Liam Smith. He could have probably fought, but is Liam Smith really is Liam Smith more a better name than any of the names you mentioned?
Probably not. But he was a world champion, the same as Tony Harrison and Luke. But what I'm trying to say is that he beat the best of what was around. So if you beat the best around, you're the best in the division. Obviously, he's the undisputed champion.
Castano gave him.
He's a good fighter.
Sorry,
he gave him hell. Castano's a very good fighter. Yeah. Anyway,
Harrison gave him the worst, but they gave him the loss.
He did, yeah. But he did.
I was at that fight too.
Crying.
Yeah, I was at that fight.
I know you were. I remember what you said. But then he started crying. So I believe that Canelo will destroy him in about 6-7 rounds. That's my final opinion on it.
It's going to be entertaining. He's not going to be over. He's good. Canelo will wear him down, but don't forget, Canelo's getting a little long in the tooth between injuries. You know, we got to see where he's at now. You know, and see if he's still like the same Canelo from 4 years ago, which I don't think he is, but he's still a great fighter. Yeah. So, is he ready to be taken by Charlo? Maybe not. You know, I don't think so.
You heard the excuse Canelo gave to why he lost to Bivol?
Why?
What was the excuse?
He said because he wasn't 100% healthy. You know, he was just coming off injuries, his body, and he was injured and all. So I guess he's.
Really? Yeah.
I was like, he's trying to push for a rematch, but
I wouldn't advise it.
Or make the rematch, you know, enticing maybe to some. It's like Canelo was injured the first time. If he wasn't injured, we would have had a different fight. But anyway,
I agree that Canelo, once he fights Benavidez, that may be the end of Canelo. That's one thing I will say. You know, a guy who could really destroy him.
Yeah, we're not going to go too far into his name because we're going to talk about him later on.
Yeah. Let's move on to our next thing.
Joyce by KO.
Why Zhang?
Yo, that right hand came. I wasn't even thinking he was going to get dropped like that. I mean, he looked like he was about to fall, but like that, I was like, wow, that was crazy.
Zhang just picked up where he left off. That's all he had to do.
Yeah.
You know, all the predictions of Joyce winning, I didn't see it. You know,
and Joyce talking all of this jazz about how he made these adjustments and he's gonna come in there and be a different fighter. I'm like, he was totally worse.
Zhang got into it. That loss got into it. He got hit real hard the first one. You didn't go
simulate it, right? So Zhang goes and throws a punch, one punch, and then hits one, and then Joyce hits a punch, misses it, and then Zhang comes in, hits the right hand as Joyce has like got his hands down, and he's down. And it's over. It was a great punch, and it would have knocked out any heavyweight in the division. That punch, it was that good.
Yeah, that right hand that came out of like he just threw that, came over the top with it. I mean, came over his hand with it, and like I was like, wow. Joyce is done.
Do you remember when Ali was to George Foreman, the Mummy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, would you simulate the punch he used for me, please? The punch that Zhang used, and then do it. Yeah. So it's like this. Joyce. Then throw the pretend punch. Oh!
Yeah, that was crazy.
So where does he go from here? Is his career over? What's going on with it?
No.
Well,
You tell me what you think, Spencer, then I'll reel off a list of fighters for both.
Well, Joe Joyce said he wasn't going to retire. I mean, you know, Zane got his number. Dubois should try to get him now, get a rematch. See if he can redeem himself.
You know, some guys' punches you just can't take. Zhang is a big guy. What is he, like 290 for that fight?
Yeah.
That's a lot of weight, man. He was just like so much stronger. But I think it was psychological, and number two, he was too slow and wide open for those punches. Just like he was in the first fight. Remember I said in the first fight, if he needs to go in there within the first 5 rounds and bust him up, and that's what he did. And he did the same thing this time. He just went in there and busted him up, and that was it. He busted him up in the first round.
Yeah, and he almost had him. He was staggering in the second.
Well, he got knocked out in the second.
No, I thought that was the third round.
I thought it was the second round.
Right. Besides all the negative stuff about Joyce saying he's finished, he's this and that, as a heavyweight, you're never finished. You can always reel up a good load of wins together. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like when Joshua lost, it was, he's finished. But obviously, when you get knocked out, I mean, I've got a list of fighters. Joey Duecker ranked at 84. These are all comeback fighters. Adam Kownacki ranked at 61. Rydell Booker, 58. Charles Martin, 50. Arnold Gerger, 65. Gerald Washington, 74. Ivan Deichko, 67. Derek Chisora, ranked 10th in the world. Cusimano, 23. Hellenius, 32. Jonathan Rice, 35. And Jermaine Franklin, 25. The best, I would pick Jonathan Rice for him to come back and beat.
Yeah, okay, he could fight those guys. The thing, though, is that he's so hittable. And those 2 fights with Zhang, he was hit really hard.
But do you think Rydell Booker would be a good opponent for someone like a Rydell Booker or someone like a Jonathan Rice, somebody who doesn't hit too hard, but they have respectable records, you know, or even an Areola?
Well, some of them are good boxers, and they could quite easily defeat him if they box him well.
Washington, for me, is too risky at this stage. Probably. I don't know. What do you think, Spencer?
I wonder, like, these dudes need to I mean, as far as for Joyce's career, yeah, one of those dudes. I don't know how much that would sell out in the UK with one of those dudes. Maybe he would need to get somebody that's like more known out there. I don't see him.
Chisora,
but yeah, he could fight Chisora. Yeah, he could fight Chisora. That wouldn't be too bad. He could rematch, like I said, Dubois. He could
I think it's another loss. If he fights Joyce Dubois now, it's another loss in my opinion.
He could fight one of the Commonwealth guys, you know, somebody from either Canada or
there's a couple of heavyweights coming up that he could fight in England.
Jermaine Franklin, I think at this stage would be too much of a risk. And I'm being honest. I know Franklin doesn't hit super hard, but I think he would shake Joyce. It'd be a bad stylistic matchup for him. Really bad style. Even Robert Hellenius would be risky at this stage, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he should take a few months off and recover from this knockout, and then you know they got to bring him back up easy.
But
carry on. 2 KOs in a row You know, they're going to match him with guys now that they wouldn't match him before. They'll match him.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful.
What do you think, Spencer? So,
Yeah, like he should get, like you said, take a couple months off. Then when he comes back, fight some soft touches. Somebody that's going to not hit him hard so much, just so he could get some rounds in. He could get his confidence back, you know, and somebody that he should be able to knock out and get out of there.
even Charles Martin would be a risk at this stage, in my opinion. Even Charles Martin's probably too dangerous. Southpaw, same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't hit as hard as him. It's too dangerous.
Don't forget one thing. He's absorbed a lot of headshots, not in these two fights, but even way before that.
Oh, yeah, early in his career.
His head may be getting soft now. You know, his punch resistance may be going.
So you need to give him guys who can't hurt you. You need to give him guys like the Chisoras or the guys like the Jonathan Rices who don't hit. I wouldn't put him in there with Hellenius or Washington. Washington has a good record. You know.
I wouldn't put him in there with Chisora either. To tell you the truth.
Left hook.
Adam Carnell, I'd put him in there with. Someone like Joey Dueco, but we're going way down the rankings. We're going down to the 70s and 80s for him to.
Yeah. And he's bigger than those guys, so he should be able to manhandle them if anything.
Let's be honest. Anybody, if they're managed correctly, can become world champion. If they're managed correctly, anyone with a bit of talent can become. Look at we've seen it so many times, haven't we? Like he could go the WBA route. Like if the Miller fight doesn't happen, he could step in and fight someone like that. You see, this is the route he's now going to have to go down in order to he's going to have 4 or 5 fights. You know,
well,
then he'll get a title shot.
On that turn, where does Zhang go?
Zhang
is the mandatory now.
Yeah, but who's going to want to fight him? You know, because they'll have a unification fight. You know, nobody.
This is our next subject, people. Zhang.
You got to see who's ranked in the WBO because that's who he's going to fight. Because after the Undisputed, those guys are going to vacate. They're not fighting Zhang. I mean, Fury might fight Zhang. I mean, I don't think either one of them would not fight him, Usyk or Fury. I think either one of them would fight him. And both of them are better than him.
Yeah, you got to work him because he'll get tired. You got a guy that could get him past 5. You know, he just starts slowing down.
Yeah, and both Fury and Usyk could go past 5.
Well, the problem is, looking at the WBO rankings, they're pretty crap. Number 15, you've got Justin Honey. He could fight someone like that. You've got 14.
But for the title, if it's for the vacant title, it'll be somebody that's in the 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Let's go for the ranking. Makhmudov, Kabial, Daniel Dubar, Hergovich, even David Adelaide is ranked there, and he's only had 8 fights and he's done nothing. You've got Otto Wallin. You've got Parker, Ruiz, Sanchez. And the only people I could see like fighting him would be someone like a Ruiz, or no, not Ruiz, someone like Frank Sanchez, or you know, or a Wallin, somebody like that, you know, or a Kabiat. But Makhmudov, for me, Makhmudov is the only guy that would probably get in there and fight. For me, looking at the rankings.
Yeah, well, we know Hergovich don't want that.
Makhmudov. I tell you what, I'd give Makhmudov a real chance of beating the guy. Seriously, he's good. Zhalalov, the next big hitter is Zhalalov. Zhalalov is one of the biggest hitters in the heavyweight division, isn't it? We've seen how good he is. You know?
Well, we've seen this other dude. Did I put him up there?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't even know if I put him up there, yo. The clip that Tom put up on the page, yo, that dude hit hard.
Yeah. He did.
Moises Atuma? Is that how you say his name?
Oh, yeah, but he's 18 years old. He's only had 5 pro fights. That guy.
No, I got it, but you know, like you can still see the power in the guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If we're talking about Mosetum, we're talking about a guy that won't be in the conversation for probably another 3 years. We're looking 2020.
Yeah. He won't be there.
But we've seen it so many times. These British guys come through at heavyweight, and they end up being nothing. We've seen it so many times. You know, I hate to say it, but it's true. So, right, I think Zhang will get a world title shot when one of them becomes vacant. He'll win it, and you won't see Hrgovic in the ring with him anytime soon.
Once the Fury Usyk fight happens, if they have the two fights, I don't know, but if once the fights happen and the belts split up, then Zhang will be fighting for a vacant title. Hrgovic will be fighting for a vacant title. Wilder and AJ will be fighting for a vacant title.
Well, the problem with this is once the undisputed fights happen, we know the belts are going to get fragmented again. Then we're going to have Hrgovic winning a belt. We're going to have Zhang winning a belt. Supposedly, it's going to happen. The next generation is already here.
Yeah, Zhang is an old guy for the next generation, though.
Another 20
Zhang
years.
too old. Zhang is too old.
Yep. All right, you want to move on to Opetaia and Thompson? Who's going to win?
Yeah, we can. Right. For me, this is such a bad mismatch. Jordan's not even the mandatory. He's replacing somebody, isn't he?
Yeah, but Jordan is tall and has a good record. It could give him some trouble.
But he's not very good. I've seen him. He's a British level fighter. He's not European level, not world, none of it. I've seen the guy fight. He was fighting 6-rounders about 3 years ago. The guy has done nothing. You know, nothing at all. He's worse than Isaac Chamberlain.
It's in reality,
the guy's
terrible, man.
In his last fight, he beat a guy called Luke Watkins, who is British level, right? Barely British level. He beat him in 6 rounds. Then before that, he beat a guy called Vasil Duka, right? Who's ranked 49 in the world, 41. This is such a mismatch, it's not even funny. He's 6'6". You know,
is this his first fight since the injury?
I believe it is, yeah. It's his first fight he's had a fight for 3 months. But Opetaia, we know that Opetaia is a great fighter. This is really bad matchmaking. This is such a mismatch, it's hilarious.
Wasn't it a late replacement? It was a late replacement. He's a late replacement.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. This fight should not be happening. This is crazy. They should have found a better replacement than this guy. Wow. Seriously.
Well, guys that are better probably wouldn't have been accepting a late replacement spot.
Yeah. I can understand why Jordan's taking the fight because he's never going to get this opportunity again. He's never even won a Southern Area title or even a British title. You know, this is as good as it gets for him. He had to say yes.
Do you think it's a decision or a knockout? I
think Opetaia's going to knock him out in about 3 or 4 rounds. This fight will not last long.
So you think this might be a highlight?
This is a highlight. This is like this is the biggest cherry pick I've ever seen.
I looked at his record, and he has a higher knockout percentage rate. Not that much, but then higher than Opetaia.
This is again against what they call in the WWE jobber guys, people who are there to get their money and run home. This is a squash match. This is like Hulk Hogan against Joe Republic from Louisville or something. You know what I'm saying? It's that bad.
Yeah. I got you.
All right. What about Ajaba versus Goodall on November 4th? Does that look good?
It's not a bad fight. It's not a bad fight at all.
I mean, Goodall has 1 loss, but I think it's good that they're keeping them like I think he's 12-1 and Ajaba is 18-1, so they're not pushing Ajaba into deeper water yet, which is good because he does need to learn a few things. Even though
his last fight was meant to be deep water, that Signed-Canelo-Charlo guy was meant to take him, but he didn't.
The equalizer, right? You prepare for 12, but it happens sooner. So what?
What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, well, I think, the Ajaba should. I don't know if he should win, but he should win this one.
Yeah.
What card is this going to be on?
Hold on.
it's not on Box Direct yet, so I'm not sure.
Let's see. I got it in front of me here.
Yeah, it's not on Box Direct. I've just checked.
Commonwealth Game. Well, let's see. Doesn't say, but if it's a job, it's probably going to be on ESPN because I think he's with Aaron, right?
Yeah, he went top rank. Yeah.
Top rank. Yeah, it's probably going to be on ESPN because there's a few of them with us, top ranked boxers here.
So he might put together like he did with a job, but the last time he put together his up and coming heavyweights on the same card. They might put is Jalilov fighting on November 4th?
It doesn't say.
Yeah, I think he is. He's fighting.
I don't think it's on this card though. You got Brandon Moore and Robert Sims, LeBron and Foster, Morales, heavyweight El Gigante Morales, 6-round battle, wanted to be named, Rosario. They're not as, it's not like a heavyweight card.
Oh, okay.
There'll be a lot of Latin guys on it too.
Okay.
Should be good. They always put on decent cards. So moving on to 7 here with Richardson and Hitchens versus Opetaia. Did you see that? I saw it.
Now, what you think?
What?
What you think?
He outboxed him. I mean, he just completely befuddled him and outboxed him.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's Opetaia, but maybe not so much. He's at the end of his days. His better days are behind him. Now, is Hitchens gonna what is he now? Mandatory? Was this a mandatory position?
He has so many, lower titles right now at 140. Let's see. He doesn't have any. I don't know if he's mandatory yet. It doesn't say in this article.
Okay, because I thought this was for some final eliminator to be fighting the winner of Haney and Regis.
So who is he with? What organization? Richardson Hitchens. Let's see. Doesn't say.
So it's the WBC and IBF, I believe. But this is like
I think this is on the zone. So he's either with Golden Boy or he with Eddie.
Yeah. He's got the IBF North American, WBC Silver, and the WBO NABO Super Light. He's got 3 of those belts.
Okay, so he's in a high position in the WBO, you said?
IBF, WBC, and WBO.
Yeah, so yeah, I think this is eliminated for one of those 3.
He's up there with the top guys. He's definitely up there with the top guys from what I saw the highlights.
And he fought Madison Square Garden. I'm thinking probably he's top ranked. Let's see. I don't know.
Because I'm thinking Opetaia I thought Opetaia was with Top Rank, but then I thought this fight was on the zone.
Right. I don't know. Let me see. I'm not sure where he's ranking. Ranking. Well, that was the same night that Conor Benn won. Maybe Conor Benn weighs too much for him right now.
I'll quickly talk about performance. That performance was okay considering being out for a year and a half, but he doesn't appear to have a lot of power at 154. The guy he was fighting was getting knocked around the ring a lot. His defensive stuff was good, where he was, ducking his head and stuff, but he doesn't have the power for this division. He's going to have a few more fights to acclimatise to the division. And he wouldn't beat Eubank based on that performance.
Yeah. Well, there it is.
His power hasn't gone up with it. If you're any good, you get rid of people like him within 4 or 5 rounds. Not have him there.
Yeah, Yeah, he was supposed to come back and squash that dude like a roach.
Yeah. See, so you were right. It's on the zone, but it doesn't really say. Anyway, he's an up and comer. He's going to be interesting to watch. I'd like to see him at some point with either Shakur or Devin Haney. Right? Devin Haney's,
Mhm.
you know, got a lot of guys that you can find. Lopez. Yeah,
Yeah, he could fight the Matthias. What's the name? Matthias.
yeah.
Because those the T.O. is the WBO champ. Matthias is the IBF champ, right? And then the winner of Haney and Regis will be the WBC champ.
Right.
Yeah, he'd be in line to fight either one of those guys.
Yep.
Right, let's move on. Sandy Ryan gets a draw with Jessica McCaskill.
Who do you think won that fight, Paul?
I think Sandy Ryan won it.
Yeah.
Landed more punches. McCaskill landed some good hard shots, but she was getting beat to the punch a lot.
Yeah, I would have probably picked Ryan if I was a judge.
Well, they could do it again. You know.
Yeah, that's what they were set up for.
McCaskill 39, right?
I'm sorry?
Jessica McCaskill's like 39, I think.
Yeah, a lot of the chicks are up there in age on you know, if you really look at some of their ages, some of the top girls, they definitely on the other side of 30.
Right. It's disappointing to have a draw in a fight like that, you know. It happens, you know. I didn't see 97 to 93 from McCaskill in that fight. One of the judge had it. Mark Streisand. Maybe he was listening to Barbara Streisand music when the fight was on. And I didn't see 96 to 94 I could live with. But not 95, 95. You know, I couldn't see it. So again, you know, do you like aggression and harder punching or a volume of punches? And there was a point she was right in front of her and trading with her and landing more shots too.
Yeah, that's the, I guess, who's the judges?
The judges were Mark Streisand, Mike Ross, and Barry Lindenman.
Well, you said Streisand was the one that had the outrageous card. So.
Yeah, Streisand. Yeah, Streisand did. And to me, it was a disappointment. I thought she's going to do it again.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, you want to move on to the next one here, or the Joshua?
Yeah. We'll move on to the next
yard, because I may have to go in the car, and I'll pick it up in the car with you. So this is a good fight, Butasti versus what's his name here?
Yard versus Buatsi. Yeah, that would be nice.
Buatsi, yeah, that'll be a good one. But they haven't.
Did you watch Yard's performance of the week? I thought he looked average. The guy he fought was rubbish. He's still the same old guy, rubbish.
The guy just ran away and covered up.
Yard's finished.
You said Yard's finished.
You think so?
He was never that good in the first place. Yeah, I said he's finished. He was never that good in the first place.
I was about to say, when did he start? Nah.
Perfect matchmaking.
I mean,
you can kind of maybe say that same thing about Buatsi. So, I mean, it's a good fight for you guys over there to have.
But there's a difference. Buatsi's a silver medalist. He has a lot of amateur experience.
He's a better fighter. Yard's claim to fame was he shook up Kovalev.
Yeah, that's his big claim to fame.
That's not enough.
That is not enough. Yeah, no, Buatsi should beat him with ease. I'm just saying it should be a big fight for the UK audience.
Yeah, but I think it's a great fight, but it's a couple of years overdue. I'd say this fight is like 1 or 2, probably 2 years overdue. This fight.
For who?
Yeah.
For the both guys. Because
They
Boatsy
should.
is like, yeah, carry on.
No, go ahead. Finish, Nathan.
Boatsy is 2 years, 2 years behind where he should be, right? He's fighting Dan Aziz next. Have you heard of Dan Aziz? He's a guy who's 33 years old. He's European champion. He's a guy that I believe is as talented as Boatsy. He's probably number 1 or 2 in Britain. So if Boatsy comes through that, looks good, then I fancy his chances against Yard. You know, I make him a strong favourite from what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I make him a favorite before him fighting that guy. But yeah. If he, as you said, if he comes out with that dude and without any problems, then he should definitely be able to beat Yard.
But
Yard probably has faced. Go ahead.
Yeah, going back to Boatsy's performance against Craig Spider Richards, who took Bivol the full 12 rounds. He looked, for me, that showed me enough at the level where he kind of is, somewhere in between Bivol and that kind of level. So carry on.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say Yard had fought the better known competition than Boatsy, but he lost. So fighting them ain't doing nothing if you get stopped in both times.
If you compare both careers and their predictions of their career, Yard fought blown up super middleweights, people who are crap, people who are like well past it. And Boatsy's done it the proper way. He's fought the domestic people. He's won the domestic belt, which is something Yard never did. He won the Intercontinentals, but he never won the British. He never fought any of the guys. Who was that guy? Callum Johnson. He never fought him. But now we know why. Because Callum Johnson hits like a train.
That's right.
Yeah.
He skipped domestic level and went straight for the easy fights for the Intercontinental belt. That's so they hid how bad he really was by fighting these other guys. Where Boatsy, they've done it the proper way. Like the matchmaker's been.
I figure Boatsy. I'm going to switch to my phone because I got to drive now. Okay. So you see me down here?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you need to let me in on that or what?
No, you may have to, but you might be right. If you go away, then come back. That's fine.
All right. I'm going to shut the computer down and see if I stay here. Okay.
Okay, man. We'll move on to the next thing in a minute, which is. What number am I on? Number 10.
What's next?
I'm just looking. It's Charlo versus Jose Benavidez in negotiations for November on Benavidez Andre Cup.
Wow. So he's going in reverse. Right? He's fighting the lighter brother first. Probably 160, right?
Yeah.
I don't like his head. I don't like his psychological look. I don't know what's going on with that guy, but it's not good. The Jamal. What is it, Jamal? The heavier brother, the middleweight.
Well, he's fighting the right guy. So he ain't got his head on right either.
He's not fighting David Benavidez. He's fighting Jose Benavidez.
I know he's fighting the right guy. I know who he's fighting. He's fighting the right guy. Yeah. Yo, Jose Benavidez didn't look good. He said he was going to retire after his last fight.
Uh-huh. Stuff happens.
Yeah. They threw some money at him so he could fight Charlo on him.
Yeah, he doesn't look right to me. He's estranged from his brother. He's just not psychologically right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Psychologically, he doesn't sound good to me. I've seen a couple of interviews, and he just seems like either his injuries are much worse than we thought, or he's just totally, he's had personal problems, and, he just seems depressed.
Might be going through a lot of stuff in his personal life.
Yeah. Didn't he get arrested for a domestic dispute?
Yeah. believe he did. Yeah.
Yeah, that could really do a number on your head, you know, having trouble in your marriage and with your kids and all that.
Yeah.
That could put you in a bad place, plus being injured. So we'll have to see how he reacts.
Let's move on to Tevin Farmer, who was out of action for 3 years. He came back about 3 months ago, had a fight where he won against a guy who was pretty low, and he's got 2 fights consecutively lined up against more guys ranked 100 in the boxing. So for me, Tevin Farmer's 30. What is he? 31 now. I don't know how much he's got left.
Neither do I. I don't know. We'll have to see because
he's fighting at lightweight now.
Mm.
Move up to lightweight. So, I mean, he was a steady champion at super featherweight, but I don't know how far he's going to go. Couldn't say.
Well, he doesn't have stiff resistance in this fight. So we'll see. It's like a comeback fight, I guess.
Yeah, his second comeback fight this year.
The guy
Well, yeah,
can punch, but he's got a lot of losses. He's a good puncher, but I don't know. What do you think, Spencer?
Yeah, well, this is on his path to trying to get another title shot, and he's going to fight some of these guys. Like Nathan had mentioned, it's his second comeback fight. He was out of the ring for a few years, so he got to get his legs back up under him and all that before he could even really think about fighting some of the top 10 guys.
Has he been on TV? Well, his last fight wasn't on TV, was it? Let me double check. I don't think it was even on TV.
If it was on the undercard.
I think he was with Top Rank for a while, right?
Yeah, he was with Matchroom before, but
I see. Okay.
Event. Let's have a look.
Well, that's all I have to say
Alex
about
Barboza.
that.
Alex Barboza, and this was in Philip.
I remember there was a time when people used to think that Tank was afraid to fight him.
He looks like he's fighting non-televised shows.
I don't know.
If you look at Farmer's career, how it was managed when he was under Matchroom, the way they manoeuvred him to win a belt was very good matchmaking, wasn't it? You know, they did it perfectly. And the 5 defences he made against the guys who were European level, you know, all the British sort of fighters, he said, European level fighters.
Yeah, he was one of the early DAZN signees. So when they was having them put on DAZN early on, he was fighting. What he was doing as champion on DAZN was similar to what Andrade was doing as champion on DAZN.
Yeah, fighting guys who are not top 25. You know, with Farmer, for me, the fact that he won a belt was amazing anyway, because he was never like the best super featherweight. He was probably barely just in the top 10, in my opinion. You know, he was good, but he wasn't that good.
Yeah, that's why those 5 title defenses or 6, whatever he had against the guys he had. It's impressive on paper that he had, defended the belt that many times. And good for him, man. I ain't gonna take that from him. Give him his flowers.
We know what they were. Guys that could barely, you know. But for his talent, the limited talent he has, he's done very well. With the limited set he has.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
But
so what
I just think
next?
we've seen the best of what's next.
Yeah, we definitely seen the best of what he had. Because what you say, he fighting at lightweight, he ain't beating Shakur. Who else is there?
Haney. Not Haney.
Haney is too big.
Javante Davis.
Lomachenko, Tank. He might get a fight against Tank, but he ain't beating Tank.
He's getting knocked out if he fights Tank.
Yeah.
For sure. Definitely getting
let's go to next. A man who will make history, will try and become a 3rd lightweight champion, is Shakur Stevenson. He'll be fighting Edwin de Los Santos for the vacant lightweight belt, WBC belt. That wasn't Haney stripped of the belt, or was this for the champion?
Haney is that. Haney is that.
So this his opponent, 18. This is a gimme fight. This is a gimme fight. This is a fight he should win easily.
Yeah, Shakur is definitely the future of this sport.
He's just too good.
I mean, he's now, but he's from now to the future. Because he's here.
Well,
He ain't about to be here.
What did you just
think we've only seen 60% of what Stevenson's capable of right now. We're not seeing everything.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's going to dominate every division he wants to go to. He'll dominate.
Yeah, he's that good. You can see that. You could definitely see that.
Oh yeah, he's a gem. He's and Bud is tutoring him too.
But Bud is his mentor, isn't it? So if you've got that as your mentor, you can't really go wrong. In my opinion, we shouldn't go wrong.
No way.
He got a dude out there though that is kind of, he's behind Shakur. He's like two levels behind Shakur as far as the progression, as far as his career goes.
What do you mean, Shakur over Bud? Comparing him to Bud? Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
No. I was gonna say Keyshawn Davis, man. That guy is nice, yo. He's gonna be like one of them dudes. He's gonna be one of them dudes you're talking about. Like, he's not at where Shakur is yet, but he's like right behind him, or maybe 2 steps behind him. But that's gonna be a special dude when he gets into the into the bigger fights.
Yep. He is a force. He's like when Boots was coming up,
Yeah, man. You looking at him fight, you like, wow, I can't wait to see when he is fighting the bigger names.
Yeah. That's an interesting, he could fight Shakur, he could fight any of those guys. Well, he's 135, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, Shakur might grow out of the division but he's young too, so he might grow with him. Like, he's at 135 now, but he could eventually be at welterweight.
Yep.
Oh,
right,
man. Go ahead.
Let's move on. MAINEVENT will be fighting Title-Wallin in Turkey over 12 rounds on Saturday. And Gassiev's been a heavyweight for 4 years, fought nobody. Wallin, we know what he brings. I'm going to pick Wallin to win this one.
I give him the edge as well. I give Wallin the edge as well in this.
But Gassiev has power. Power.
Yeah. What about you, Spencer? What do you give it?
I was gonna say Whalen, but I'm gonna go against the grain and pick Gassiev just because y'all two pick Whalen.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, it'll be competitive, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I think Wallin has more power.
Yeah, he's saying as much. He's like, he's gonna fight a real heavyweight now.
That's right. And
So,
he is a real heavyweight. He
Gassiev is
withstood
6'4".
Tyson Fury.
Gassiev is 6'4". He's not a small man.
No, he's not. He could be. He's a heavyweight, so he's definitely not a small guy.
Well, it'll be a good one. I think that's going to be a good one.
Right.
Okay.
Neither fighter here is going to win a world title. We know that. We'll do anything in the division.
No, they're not winning the world title.
Champions need contenders,
Yeah, they definitely need people to fight.
Caroline Dubois fight for the IBO lightweight title this weekend. So that's a start.
Is she any good? I've never seen her. Is she any good?
Yeah, she's good. Yeah, she's good. She was a top amateur, but she didn't go to the Olympics. She's only, how old is she? I think she's about. Let me have a look. How old she is?
She's 7-0.
She's 22.
So she's young and she's 7-0, but she has
She's
good
better
amateur
than her brother.
experience.
She's better than her brother. Let's put it that way.
Oh, well, that's saying something. She throw a good body shot. That'll be above the belt.
She's basically
Listen.
a female version of her brother, but with more talent, if I can put it honestly.
She's eyeing Katie Taylor, so.
Yeah. Katie lost her last fight, right?
Yeah, she did. I hope she's got a better chin than her brother.
Yeah.
Well, I want to check her out. Let's see. We'll see. What else is happening?
Well, one of their newspapers or whatever put out their pound for pound list, and that's what I put up with the last thing. Listen, I listen. I see a lot of lists, and this is it's. I mean, you know, like I'm a guy that I like. If somebody creates a list, I like to ask them, you know, what's your criteria? Why are they on the list? What makes a person get on your list? What, you know, like what's your criteria? I don't do pound for pound list myself. I do a pound for pound guy, which is Bud, in my opinion, he the best fighter in boxing. But yeah, so that's it. I don't bother myself with 2 through 10. But go ahead.
I've looked at this list and there's a name on here that shouldn't be on there. Why the hell is Errol Spence Jr. at number 8? You can't put him in. He's just lost. You can't put him in anyone's top 10.
Well, I mean, listen, they got Canelo not just over Bivol, a couple of spots over Bivol, and he lost to Bivol.
Which is right. But it's his super middle record. It's based on
but there goes the criteria. What would be the reason why a person is on the list? Because a person, reasonably speaking, a person could be a top 10 person if Errol Spence was, like, just for argument's sake, Errol Spence was their number 2 guy before he lost to Bud. Then him being at number 8 now is reasonable.
But we know who should be number 1. Crawford has unified 2 has become undisputed in 2 weight divisions. Inoue hasn't. He's only done half of it. So for me, Crawford is the number 1 for me, pound for pound, right now.
Agreed.
Fury should be above Usyk. Yeah.
Let me ask a question. Since you brought it up, Spencer, what's your criteria?
Part of my thing is just me being a guy that watches boxing matches and fights, and I see the skill set of what a fighter does. Like, Bud has really no flaws. Like, there's no way you could really get to Bud. There's nothing he fights from both sides. He could fight on the front foot. He could fight on the back foot. He has good defense and he has power. I mean, there's nothing that he doesn't have.
Right. The problem with Bud is father time is catching up with him. That's the only thing. That's the only thing. He's getting his recognition by a lot more now that he's older, right? You know, because there was a lot of talk. Bud ain't fight nobody. But I'm like, I don't know what y'all seeing when y'all seeing Bud fight, but Bud might lose a round in the first 2 rounds or 3 rounds, but after that, he's not losing rounds. He's taking over the fights after that. We're talking about a man who's had 2 weight divisions within 4 years of each other. That's impressive.
I mean, and if you wanna, and Bud has fought various styles of fighters. He's fought different types of fighters and beat up various types of fighters with ease. Just as easily. He could fight. I don't want to, sound like putting people in boxes, but he has fought Mexican style fighters just as easy as he fought boxers. He has fought. Yeah. So he fought European style fighters. And then he beat Cuban fighters. You know, so
You know, he fought Kell Brook, and Kell was very talented.
he fought Gamboa when Gamboa was supposed to be this big thing, and he beat Gamboa with ease.
Knocked him out.
Yeah, so and that's when Gamboa was supposed to be this big thing. So yeah, so that's the reason why I call him that.
If Muhammad Ali taught us anything when he beat George Foreman, is that just because a guy is big or is a great puncher, like I knew he's a great puncher and he's fast, that doesn't make him pound for pound, you know, and that he hasn't lost. I mean, he hasn't been in the trenches like Bud has been in the trenches and fought all these different guys that could, you know, that he beat easily, that other people didn't beat very easily.
Yeah, now I will say, like, when people put up with Louis, I'm like, you know, it's
Laughing.
it's I would not agree with it. However, I can see a reasonable case for him because he also fought various styles of fighters. When he beat Fulton, that was the icing on the cake. So, I mean, but Bud beat Spence. So, you know, like right after that. So whatever cake he had, Bud took it away and ate it. So
what division is he featherweight or is he super flat? I forget. Is he featherweight? I knew I forget what weight division is. Super featherweight.
No, he's junior featherweight. He's super bantamweight.
Yeah. Nobody cares about this division. Nobody really cares about the super bantamweight division. Let's be honest. It's not that.
Yeah, but Nathan, people care about watching him fight because of his dynamics.
So yeah. But
yeah.
What I'm saying
But
is, yeah, carry on.
Go ahead. I mean, he ain't been at the more famous divisions. Featherweight. Once he gets to featherweight, then we'll really, you know, we'll see.
The problem with Inoue is, like, he's blasted out a lot of people. He's gone 12 rounds, he's gone the championship round, he's blasted people out, made it look easy. He's good, but I want to see him move up to featherweight. Once he gets to featherweight, I want to see him fight the people like the Josh Warrington, the people, you know, the elite people at featherweight. That's what I want to see him.
Yeah. Without question. He could see what he got at featherweight.
How would he deal with Lara? That's what I want to know. How would he deal with Lara? You know, seriously, I think he'd beat him. I just want to see it. I paid to see it.
Yeah, there's another dude there. I can't. Who's the WBC champ at featherweight?
Ray Vargas.
Is Vargas? No, he could be. I mean, he's gonna be fighting guys that hit hard. He might be quicker than them though.
The perfect opponent for him would be Lee Wood or Luis Alberto Lopez, the IBF and the WBA champion. I think Inoue would destroy Lee Wood. Seriously, absolutely not.
Yeah, those would be winnable fights for him.
Yeah, the weaker champion, but they're still good. They're still world-class fighters. But fighters that he would deal with. The way that Lee Wood fights, Inoue would pick him apart, wouldn't he? And Lopez, he'd destroy him. You know.
Well, you know, can he pull a Pacquiao? Can he go up in weight divisions and keep winning?
Yeah.
Does he have that? Or like Roberto Duran did, you know?
Yeah. I think his limit is probably featherweight or super featherweight. I think that's his limit. I think he can only go up to featherweight or super featherweight. I don't think he can go past super featherweight. No. Featherweight or super featherweight is his limit.
So he can't reach all the way to lightweight.
Possibly, and that's his limit. That's probably his limit. Super featherweight or lightweight. Got to be realistic about it. You know?
Yeah, no, without question. I mean, you know, his frame might not even be able to hold that, you know, put on that much weight.
I just think super featherweight, he's probably good. Super featherweight, that's his limit. You know.
Yeah, because between what he is now is super bantamweight, which is what's that, 122?
Yeah.
Featherweight is 126.
And then junior light, super featherweight's 130.
Yeah, so I mean, so if he 122 now, he could maybe go up 8 pounds, but going up 13 and still being the same guy,
Yeah.
when you're a small dude is might
Guys,
be
I've got
asking
to
a lot.
off there now. I've got to go on patrol now, so I've got to finish.
All right, man. Go ahead, man.
Enjoy the fights, okay?
Hey, good show, man. Good show.
Without question, man. Good talking to y'all, man. Speak to y'all next week.
All right, take care.